Hello and welcome to Grind Slime TV with me, your host Aaron. And today it's a hot one. God damn, said Sam I am. But we're persevering. Yeah! So, today, bit of a special one. Because French record label, well, Indonesian and French record label, Underground Syndicate, sent me a little promo pack to be reviewed for you guys. So over the next few days, you can see a few releases from these guys. I'll do them every other video, so it doesn't just become 3 days of Underground Syndicate. I'll mix it up a bit for you, keep it entertaining, keep you guessing, you know how it goes. But we're going to start today with their EP that they've put out, and this is the band Enmity, and this is their EP ReEvolution. Now, this is a international band, so you got members from Indonesia, France, and Palestine. So a mixed bag. Yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. And you got the 2 tracks on here. You got about 10 minutes worth of tunes here, so each song's around the 5-minute mark. You know, it's not like they've got one that's like 8 minutes and the other one's 2 or whatever. So very solid songwriting. You got the there's the back there, there's the band. They've got their thanks list on the back of the digipack. There's the 2 songs at the top, whatnot, and all your production and whatnot. And it's a self-recording, which is really cool. Got to be done. And for a self-recording, this is very, very good quality. And it was mixed and mastered at JFD Studio in Dallas, Texas, by Jean-Francois Dijonet. Or Dagenet? I don't know. Oh, Frankie boy, he done it. And you've got the lyrics on the inside there, look. There's the CD doing its thing. You've got the same sort of artwork behind. Reminds you very much of the video game The Evil Within. Banger. Don't know if you guys have played that. Put it in the comments if you have. Sure, it's flawed, but I had a hell of a lot of fun. Still got to complete the second one. But yes, let's talk music. Now, full disclosure, this is not my bag by any stretch of the imagination. Now, I'm not going to sit here and be nasty about it, because what does that solve? Nothing. But what I will say is, like before, it was really, really well recorded, and the musicianship in this band is very on point. Like, these guys are sharp, they are tight, you know, they know what they are doing when it comes to this kind of style. Now, one complaint, actually a couple of complaints, but the first one we'll get out of the way, because that's how numbers work, is that this is advertised as old school thrash and death metal. I'm not an expert, I'm not a connoisseur, I'm not an authority on this sort of stuff, but I've got a relatively nice sized collection, and it consists mainly of old school thrash and death metal, and this doesn't sound like any of that. Okay, this actually sounds a lot more like what you would expect to hear at like the gym these days, or if you go into like a record shop and they've got the latest release on that's like the sort of generic mainstream extreme metal, and it's still extreme metal. Okay, now I don't know if you would call this deathcore or metalcore, because I don't know enough about that stuff, but old school thrash and death, it ain't. Alright, so get that out of the way straight away. It's actually got somewhat of an industrial feel to it in places, but it's very clean production, very choppy sort of guitars. You get a lot of the dun 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 going on, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's just like this. It's not really what I'd classify, but like I say, I'm not an expert, and if people want to put in the comments like, oh, here's an old band that sounds just like that, you silly, silly cunt, then fair enough, I'm wrong, which happens every fucking day to everybody, so who gives a fuck? My other complaint is the lyrics are a little juvenile, and I'm not trying to be out of order, but it's just like they sound like they were written by an angry teenager. And it's just like, oh dude, I feel like I've read these lyrics a bunch of times before. back in the old days when all the new bands were coming out and they were like, you know, that usual, I'm not happy and the system's unfair. It's like, well, cool, but you know, these guys all look like they're pushing 40. But you know, but it could be lost in the translation. I mean, the dude speaks really, really good fucking English, way better than the French that I speak. So kudos there, 100%. But like, this isn't a bad band at all. It's just not my cup of tea. But if you're into something that sounds a lot like this, like it's got those very sort of, you can tell it's a very digital recording. Nothing wrong with that. But it's just very what I call soapy. You know, it's very clean and all the edges have been rounded off. So if this sounds like something that you might be into, you know, again, great musicianship, excellent drumming, great guitar playing, the bass cuts through lovely, the mix is fantastic, and the bass sounds really cool. It's got that sort of really nice distorted, what I like to call the old clunk and twang sort of thing going on. Really, really cool. Oh, the sound effects you get on this show, absolutely second to none. Fucking Michael Winslow over here, you know what I mean? Fucking. So yeah, if you're into anything that sounds like, I mean, I don't know what you would compare this to, you know. So but if people like, if you're into this sort of stuff, go in the comments and let the other people know, like, oh, if you like these bands in particular. Like on Spotify, it said like a lot of the people who listen to this also listen to something called Inverted Serenity. I don't know what who those people are. I don't know what that sounds like, but I didn't check it out. So I thought if it sounds like this, it's not going to be my sort of thing. But an excellent EP, all the same, all because for me, it doesn't make it fucking rubbish. Do you know what I mean? That ain't how it works. So I see a very promising future ahead for Enmity, but when it comes to Enmity, I'm sorry, I'm going to be sticking to Old Faithful. You know what I'm talking about. Oh yeah. So that's it from me today. Well, not all of that from me today, because up next we've got part 1 of my 10 video series of my top 50, where I'm going to be showing you 5 of my top albums in no particular order. Let's go. Support the underground. Do a backflip.